Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mobile Weekly / Mobile Q&A. We go over all the latest news that happens during the week and then answer your questions live. It's been a week off, so it's been a while since I did this. Been a while since I filmed, really. I did most of the videos that went up last week, and then just this week I did the Tekken video or this morning, and that's been about it. Haven't done a lot of videos since, but getting back on it. Took a couple days off, and I'm going to be getting my new computer as well, so I have to set that up. So glad to knock a lot of videos out before that happens, so that all of that stuff will be ready. So let's get started with some of the news that happened during this week. And the first bit of news is from Sam Mobile, and that is that Oculus announced that Chromecast is finally coming to the Gear VR. Virtual reality consumers do, or virtual reality makers rather, do not understand the biggest draw of the Gear VR or any virtual reality system, whether it be the HTC Vive, whether it be the Oculus Rift, is to somehow make virtual reality social. And this is one of the biggest things in order to do that. Because when I have a party, I want everyone to see what I'm seeing. And so they understand while I look goofy and I'm going like this, but they get to see it. They get to use it and play it. And that's the whole idea behind this. And that's the really benefit of virtual reality. And you want it to be social. You want it to be great. And that's the big thing. So this is a big step in the right direction. I actually tried to do this a couple of weeks ago when I did one of the new games for the Oculus Rift, the Gear VR, and I wasn't able to do it. So this was a big, I was like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, finally, about time they have changed this. So I'm really happy about this. The other big thing is Oculus is even bringing more and more partnerships to the Gear VR. So UFC fights are now going to be live on there, along with the X Games and live national events. So basically, if you didn't know, right now on the Gear VR, you can get a lot of free matches or games on NextVR. NextVR offers a lot of free content, and you don't have to have a subscription, you don't have to have anything like that, but you can actually watch NBA games, you can actually watch boxing matches, you can watch NASCAR, you can watch PGA tournaments, all of that kind of stuff for free just on NextVR. So they provide a lot of that stuff. I don't know where this is essentially going to be, but again, more and more content is coming to this. So I think that's really big that you're going to start to get UFC. I know that was a thing that a lot of people had asked me about. Well, I know boxing's there, but how is UFC? So that's one thing that really kind of I know a lot of people are waiting for. So very curious to see how that goes. And we have a report saying that although the OLED panel will only be in one device this year with the iPhone that's coming out this year, when the iPhone 8 comes out next year, it's going to have double the screens because all iPhones 8s next year are going to have an OLED display. So that's the big thing, is when the iPhone 8 does come out next year, it is going to have an OLED display on the regular version and the Plus variant. So that's really big for Apple, and so they're doubling their order of what they're doing this year for next year because they're going to have so many more devices that they need OLED displays for. So that's pretty big in terms of it. And then I see someone in the comment section is asking me about this. So yes, we are going to talk about the Essential Phone. And if you didn't know about the Essential Phone is from Andy Rubin. Now, who is he? He made two of the most iconic, one, he made one of the most iconic products / softwares for the product, and one, he made the software that's the highest used OS in the world now. No, I think Windows still wins that, but still. And that is, he made the Danger operating system on the Sidekick, and he made Android OS. So really big deal that obviously he's getting involved in a new company. However, the Essential is essentially nothing to be really crazy about, unfortunately, I would say. So here's the Essential phone. The Essential phone is a glass-on-glass device. First, let's go over the specs, right? 5.7-inch 2K display, Android 7 on there. You have 500 pixels per inch. It's an IPS display, only LCD, not OLED. 13 megapixel camera with 1.9, which is good, not the 1.7 that's on the top phones out right now. It's a dual camera though, so that is important. So you do have the dual camera on there. You also have an 8 megapixel front camera, Snapdragon 835, 4 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage with no expandability. And the battery is 3040 milliamps. Now, what's different about it? Well, it has these two pins at the top that allow it to connect to a tiny 360 camera, which is definitely considered the smallest 360 camera I've ever seen, and probably most people have ever seen. So it's pretty cool how it just connects like that, really simple and easily, and allows you to film in 360. Now that's pretty cool to be able to film in 360, but is that going to sell a phone? No. We've seen other cameras try to do 3D video recording and all these other, gimmicky style of video, and they don't sell the phone. You also have a phone dock, which makes it wireless charging now, which leads me to believe that you do not have regular Qi wireless charging. It has to be with this connector. Now, I haven't been able to see if that's correct, but I'm very curious to see if it's going to be Qi standard or not. And other than that, the biggest thing is it's made with ceramic. So what does that mean compared to glass and metal? Well, it means that there is no case made for it. However, it does not need one, is what they're saying. And you can see on their drop test, they actually dropped it flat out. And yeah, it's ceramic and titanium, way harder than the aluminum that most phones use. So yeah, it is going to be tougher. However, is it going to be tough enough? We'll see. I don't know once reviewers get drop test if it will stand up to everything without a case, although I'd love to see. Again, they kind of show the difference. They dropped an iPhone, they dropped a Samsung on both on aluminum. They made scuffs, and on the Essential phone, it didn't have a blemish. So yeah. Other than that, I mean, again, really cool looking colors. I like the black. The gray is okay. The white's really nice, and the green looks so sexy. Right now, you can pre-order the white or the black, and the gray and the ocean depths are going to be a little bit longer. And again, it takes up most of the screen, as you saw at the top. It takes up most of the screen, so almost no bezels, just like the S6 and G6. But I don't know, guys. Nothing too wow factor for me that I'm like insane about. It has some really good things. The audio cancellation is really good. It is the second phone to have Bluetooth 5.0, or did the U11 have it? It's one of the best phones to have. It's one of the first phones to have Bluetooth 5.0. So yeah. Overall good. It can do 4K video with the front camera, which is very rare. I'm not sure if that's the first for this, but it's very rare that a phone gets to have that ability. So yeah, guys, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this device? For one, I'll tell you right now, this isn't going to sell much. It's not meant to sell much. It's going to sell less than, it's going to sell like the Nexus used to, basically. The more expensive Nexus, like the one Motorola made, compared to the low price Nexuses or anything like that. Because $749, it's not going to compete with the iPhone and the Samsung. It's just not. So it's not going to be a high selling phone. I'm more curious about this, the home base that they are selling as well, that they will be coming out with, and it's going to be able to use Google Now Assistant or Siri built into it. So you don't need to use any of their assistant. You can use your own assistant, but it just connects to it and makes it beautiful, and it has a screen on it, which it looks beautiful. That I'm actually more excited for than the regular thing. So the Home is the one I'm more excited for, the Essential Home, compared to the regular Essential. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think? Are you guys think it's a really good? I mean, look, it's Andy Rubin. You have to pay attention to what he does. But overall, I think it's just in terms of a phone. So we'll have to see when it comes out how it really plays. And the last one I wanted to take a look at just because I think it's really interesting. And that is Wells Fargo has stated combined T-Mobile and Sprint would top AT&T and become the second largest carrier in the U.S. Now, I'm not sure why this is. I'm not sure if combined they just have that many. Has T-Mobile grown that much? Because I thought Sprint lost a lot of theirs. So I'd be surprised. I'm not sure if this was more financially they would be, more, or spectrum-wise they would be more. But really the biggest thing about this is that it would be very interesting if this does happen. Quite frankly, I don't think T-Mobile needs Sprint, but I'm really curious to how it would go. T-Mobile on the West Coast where I live does very well. Sprint does very well on the East Coast. So I do see that, combined, they would have much better coverage overall. So yeah, I'm really curious about this. Overall, AT&T is really still betting on the Time Warner purchase, and they're really betting on that, but they haven't done too much in regards anywhere else. So I'm really curious to see how it will go overall when it comes to this. Let me know what you guys think. If this combination would happen, would you leave either AT&T or Verizon if T-Mobile and Sprint merged? Let me know in the comments section. Who do you have now, and would you switch to this T-Mobile Sprint hybrid if you could? Let me know. All right. And now we are going to get to your questions. Whoops. All right, so let's get to your questions. Again, if you have any questions you want to ask, just ask them now in the comment section down below, and I will get to it before the end of the show. Note 8 rumors. What about the Note 8? Any information? No, actually. A lot has been quiet on the Note 8 home front, but my guess is that Samsung is going to keep that close to the vest. I feel like the Note 8, like Samsung, is going to keep very hush-hush for a while now. I just do not see them kind of... If they can, they're going to lock that down entirely compared to any other phone they have, just because of the importance of the Note 8. I think the Note 8 is so important to the company that I just don't see them having a lot of leaks this time around. Who knows? I could be wrong completely, but we'll have to wait and see. Are you excited about iOS 11 tomorrow? Yes, for those of you who don't know, WWDC is tomorrow. That is Apple's launch event where they do everything they're in development of. Now, typically, for the last, I want to say 2 years, we did not get any hardware. However, it seems all but certainty compared to all the latest leaks that we will get iPads, which is not the time of iPad releases. iPads are typically released in November, and that's where the MacBooks are now sometimes coming as well. But this time they're saying it's going to come tomorrow, so I'm really curious. I did not expect iPads this early, but we'll see what their refresh is. They already did the new iPad, which took over the iPad Air 2, so these are supposed to be the iPad Pros that we're getting now. Curious? I mean, it's a change up. Why the change up? I think it's because Apple has become slow right now, so they're going to do that. On iOS 11, one of the biggest things I still think they need to do is split screen on a phone. I mean, at least for your Plus model. It's so funny because my editor, even a couple weeks ago, he's like, "No, I know the iPhone does split screen." I'm like, "No, I'm like positive it still does not have." And he was like, "I remember them announcing it at an announcement," and I'm like, all I've known is they could do it on their tablets, but not on their phones. And so we looked at the iPhone 7 Plus. He looked up a bunch of videos and he searched to no, I know it happened. again, they don't have it on their phones. So I think split screen on a phone is a big deal that Apple needs to address, especially as these screens are getting bigger, but the phone size isn't. So as these continue to take towards the 6-inch route, I mean, you need to have a split screen capability to split, because your tablets now that used to be 7 inches to 8 inches are now getting replaced by these 6-inch phones. So it's kind of necessary, I feel. Yes, I said iPhone 8 as in next year's iPhone, not this year's iPhone, because this year's iPhone will be the iPhone X or the Apple phone or the 10th anniversary phone, whatever they're going to call it. And next year's phone will be the iPhone 8. Not this year, though, as I've clarified for every other reviewer. How disappointed were you with UFC yesterday? Alex, I do actually not watch UFC. A lot of my friends do. I've never gotten into it. I mean, I've been at my friend's house when it came on, and like, it's fucking badass. But if you ask me, like, oh, do you know this guy's record? Oh, this guy's fighting. Like, it's so cool. I would not know. I wouldn't know. So I'm not going to act like I do or anything like that. I love a good fight in sporting event. Any sporting event, really. I think if you're not an expert on, if you have like, I have no idea who's on this team, who's on this team, but if you just see a good game, it's awesome. That's how I always do it. If I'm over a friend's place or I'm at a sports bar and there's a game on, I'm going to watch it because I hope to see a good fight or a good match. Talking about the Gear VR, why is my system always offline? Strong signal from other devices on my PC and home, router issues or something else. Thank you, RCKY. Have the 2017 VR and S8 Plus. I am not sure. Is your phone normally get good Wi-Fi, and then when it goes into VR, it has bad Wi-Fi? If so, I would be curious on why that is. Or if you have a laptop, maybe bring it to where your phone is having issues in and try it there to see if your laptop's getting good signal. I would recommend maybe getting a Wi-Fi extender. VR, especially if you're watching any 360 videos, does require a good amount of high-speed internet. Heck, when I do VR, I usually do it in this room, which my router is right here next to me. So I have a good system, but I also have a mesh router system. For those of you who saw the TP-Link Deco video we did, the M5 Deco, it really has improved my Wi-Fi in my home dramatically. Like, I have perfect Wi-Fi everywhere in my house now. So I mean, that is on average a $300 investment, or I think it's on sale for $250 right now. So might be a little too expensive, but if you get a repeater, those typically cost around $50, and those are really good to extend your signal a bit further. So basically, if I wanted to extend from here to my dining area, so where my dining table is the furthest point away from this spot. So I would put it halfway from here to the from the dining table, so that I would extend the signal. That way I would get much better internet across that room. So that hopefully helps. Is VR dead? No, but VR does need help. VR needs to become more social. There is a really cool game that, again, does the social part of VR, and that's what's going to make VR great. And that is Star Trek. Star Trek, I forget what it's called. I don't know if it's called Holodeck or Enterprise Simulator or something like that. But you and I think three or four other people command the starship, and you all have to talk to each other and give each other commands like, hey, turn on that so I can fire the torpedoes, or turn on the engine so we can turn around, and all of you have to work together in order to win the battle. That is really cool and really awesome. Now, I have heard that doesn't have as much variation, but that's a really good point. Also, horror is probably the best purpose for VR. So Resident Evil VR is supposed to be one of the best things out there, just because it's scary, it's horror. And PlayStation VR has a new controller thing, so that is supposed to be getting a lot of cool stuff as well. So all these things are getting VR more exciting, but is it perfect? No, but it's definitely on the rise, and I don't think it's dead at this point. I think it has to do what it needs to do, and that is become more social, get more live events. And again, I think that's why like Next VR app on the Gear VR gives you streaming for free for sporting events right now. The reason why is because they want people to watch it so they can see what they can take, what they can handle, and then once they really can do it to a high enough quality, then they're going to start charging for it. But right now they need to gain information and see how many people can watch it at the same time to actually allow them to do this professionally. Hello, Ricky. You said the iPhone 8 will not be released this year. What do you think of all the leaks that come out that are stating otherwise? Very simple. I've actually talked about this multiple times. Reviewers always say this every other year. Oh, Apple is skipping the 6S this year. They're going to come out with the 7. No, they came out with the 6S. Oh, this year the iPhone S isn't coming out. Apple's coming strong with the iPhone 6. No, the 5S came out. They do this every single other year. And why? It's because you click more. It's very simple, and I do not blame any reviewer for this, but they always say that basically as soon as if they would be talking right now about an iPhone 7S or 7S Plus, it's not that exciting. It's not going to get that many clicks. But if they say iPhone 8, you're clicking that. So that's why. It's a very simple and easy answer, but that's all it is. It's clickbait. And again, if they're saying the iPhone 7S and another person saying the iPhone 8, well, that person's going to get more clicks because they think, oh, no, they know. And, it's our expectations. We expect more out of Apple. But again, every 2 years this happens, every single 2 years, and every single 2 years it doesn't happen. So that's why I've stated plenty of times there will not be an iPhone 8 this year. It will be the iPhone X. It'll be called the Apple phone, or it will be called the 10th anniversary phone, or whatever they're going to call it. But the iPhone 8 will come out next year, and the iPhone 8 Plus. This year it'll be the iPhone 7S, iPhone 7S Plus, and iPhone X. Cutoff device for iOS 11 compatibility. Most likely it'll probably be around the 5, I'm guessing. They could do it to the 6 or 6S, but I think they could go all the way back to the 5. We'll have to see what kind of updates they do. Although, let's be honest, if you have a 1-year-old phone with iOS, the latest version on it, it typically runs slow. If you have a 2-year-old phone with the latest iOS version, it's crawling. It gets so slow after 2 years that I wouldn't recommend it, and I would just recommend upgrading. If the Google Glass was affordable, would it have been successful? I think it would have. I think if Google Glass had come out at $700, people would still be buying it right now. I do believe that. I believe we would be on the 2nd or 3rd generation of Google Glass right now if Google Glass had been $700. Because they only got to the developer series because it was only $1,500. Even diehard Google fans like me that loved Google now, that at the time that loved all these things, wouldn't touch it because it was just too expensive and it wasn't worth it. Not to mention, because of that price point, no developers wanted to develop for it. So, yeah, I think, yes, I think it would still be around today if it was $700. And that's the price point I said. If they had made it to $700, it would have sold. What SD card do you recommend for the new Gear 360 2017? I recommend anything over 80 megabits per second. Me personally, I always use either SanDisk or Samsung. Those are the most 2 reputable memory cards. And across every read and write test, not what's advertised, but the read and write tests, they are always at the top of reading and writing speeds. of actually tested speeds, not what is claimed. So, remember, all these people always say up to 100 megabits per second, up to 150 megabits per second. But when actually tested, they never really reach that on an average basis. Samsung and SanDisk both reach 95 and a little bit higher sometimes on tested. T-Mobile is excellent on the East Coast. I remember I was visiting Atlanta and the signal wasn't that good over there. I was in downtown Atlanta, so I don't know if that had any issues with it. But I remember when I was there, I was like, man, it does not have it is not as good signal as it does in California, as in Texas, or even Texas it had better reception. In also Chicago, it had good signal, which is mid, and also Vegas. So all those areas, I've always had really good signal. But when I went to Atlanta for whatever reason, it had a really bad signal there. I'm close to being done with Samsung. I love the S8, but their customer service sucks. Still waiting for them to resend my $99 promo, which the FedEx driver effed up and delivered, and have to admitted so. I'm not sure what happened with FedEx. I'm not sure what happened. I mean, that sucks that their customer service having a bad issue. I would even sometimes message them on Twitter. They have like Samsung support on Twitter. Message them there, because anytime you get social media involved, they look at that and take that a little bit more seriously, I feel like. So maybe try doing that. Can you explain the details about T-Mobile digits? To be honest, I haven't looked too much into it, but the whole idea is Google Voice, basically. So the whole idea is basically you have one number that all of your numbers forward to, and this number is now your number for everything. So it's an app that would be installed on your phone, right? And your old number, if someone calls that number, it now calls this number. But the great part about it is you should be able to, like Google Voice, be able to tell which number they're calling. So I should be able to tell if you're calling my personal number or my work number. But this phone can get both, but I should be able to tell if it's my work number you're calling or my personal number you're calling, and make that distinction so I know, like, okay, I want to pick up, or no, I don't need to pick up right now. So that's how Google Voice works. And digits, it's just basically that. It's just a carrier doing it. So it's getting a lot more attention. It's really cool, though, too, because say if my watch has a number, I can just give it this number as well. And again, have everything be the same number. So it's really cool for that reason. And I think it's going to be really good just because it can use a watch's number or a tablet's number, and everything goes to one new number, unique number that's a digits number. So that's a really cool thing, and that way you can always give the digits number out instead of this number, or you can forward it. It's a lot of things you can do with it, but it's essentially Google Voice from a carrier. Whoa. Whole bunch of questions just loaded. Oh, there you go. When watching YouTube through Bluetooth headphones on my S7 Edge, my phone randomly drops Wi-Fi. Is this a Nougat issue? Nougat had a lot of issues on the S7 Edge when I left it, when I got my S8. So I don't know if it's a specific Nougat issue, but the S7 Edge, unfortunately, with Nougat had a lot of issues when I left it, at least the T-Mobile variant that I had. So yeah, I mean the international S7 that I had no issues, but it looks like the US version really botched a lot of things. So it really sucks. I hated Nougat for a while. The S8 version of Nougat is far superior. You can tell they actually spent time with it and polished it really well. But the S7 Edge with Nougat did not do that well, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's a Wi-Fi issue with that. It could be just, is it only when that? Like, is your Wi-Fi perfect every other time, but just when you wear Bluetooth headphones it has an issue? Because I don't know why that would trigger. I don't even think they're next to each other. The Wi-Fi antennas are in a different area compared to Bluetooth. But yeah. Why can't I get my Google to work when I say, okay, Google, stop? Does it have to be on Wi-Fi or does it turn off? So, as you can see, mine worked immediately when I said that, so I've never had any issues. Retrain it. Maybe it's not trained right, or it's not picking up. Say okay the way you would say it normally, because some people say like okay Google, and mine will pick it up either way. Okay Google, stop. But you
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that yet.
but you want to make sure that you say it the regular way, because although the home version will do it pretty much any way you say it, the phone version, see, my phone did not go off when I said that because it did not pick it up comparing to the home version. The home version picks it up any which way you say it. The phone version needs to pick it up exactly how you say it normally. Um, Do you think the Siri speaker will be able to compete with Alexa and Google Home? I don't think the Siri speaker is coming out, at least not tomorrow. I know a lot of people are wondering that, and a lot of people are saying that it's coming. I don't. I think if anything, it would be announced, but it will not come out. Much like the Apple Watch did. If you remember, the Apple Watch was announced in November and didn't come out till like April or May. So it came out like way down the line. I think if anything, that's what's going to happen here. I do not think it will be announced, sorry, I do not think it'll be released. I think if it's announced, you're not going to see it till like the end of summer. At least that's what I believe. Will it compete with Google Home and Alexa? Absolutely it will. Why? Because it's Apple, and because they're going to market the hell out of it. They're going to make Apple users want it, and that's why. Here's the thing. Not that many things work with HomeKit as much as they do with Alexa. Compared to Google Home, yeah, we'll do better, but Siri as it is now sucks compared to Alexa and Google Home. So I just do not see. Siri is by far the worst assistant right now. So I just don't see. I don't see it being as good as them. Will it sell? Yes. Will it be as good? No. Did you get the update for the Amazon Echo to make phone calls? I have not updated it. I honestly have not used my Alexa. I've been so hooked on Google Home. I will do it though, and I am going to get the new the Echo Show, or I think that's what it's called, right? What's the new Echo called? Let's see. Let me see. What is the new Amazon? I know it's like right on their front screen probably. Hey, it's not on the front screen. Really, Amazon? You've been saying this the whole time? Yeah, the Echo Show. So we will be getting the Echo Show for the studio, and we're actually going to be giving one away in July's giveaway. So for July giveaway, since this comes out on June 28th, we are going to pre-order before then, and it will come out in July. So, we're probably going to get it in July. We're probably going to get it June, or we'll get it June 28th, and then it will be the July giveaway. So we're going to test it out. We're going to test out the call feature. We're going to test out the video feature and really see how it works. How do I send a complete video I recorded in 4K video or otherwise to someone else on another phone so they can view or keep it? It depends. Do you have a Samsung phone? If you have a Samsung phone, you have to have a Samsung account, and then you can use link sharing. Link sharing allows you to send up to a 1 gig file. So if your 4K video is more than a gig, then it can't do it. But if it's 1 gig, it can, or less than a gig, it can send it to them. It sends them a link, and then that link they can download on any phone within 24 hours. It's a link that lasts for 24 hours, And so yeah, that's just how you do it. It doesn't matter what phone they have or what computer they have. You can send that link and they can download it. So that is the first way on how to do it. The second way on how to do it is just doing it something like Dropbox or something along those lines. Another way to do it is uploading it to YouTube as a private video, and then they can download it from there as well with a YouTube downloader. Did you watch Extreme Rules? No, I'm going to watch it after, actually. I will, basically. I usually watch on YouTube, and they have like someone post a like highlights reel video, which is usually like, instead of a couple hours, it's like 20 minutes, and it shows you all the highlights from the thing. So no spoilers. I will see that. What's your favorite phone service and phone on that service? Currently, my favorite service is T-Mobile. I switched from Verizon from them about 3 years ago. Haven't looked back ever since. I actually saw, because T-Mobile was my work phone, and I saw as time went on, originally when I had my Verizon phone, man, T-Mobile service couldn't keep up. But then as a year or two passed, well, actually, it was actually right there with it. And basically, every time I had service for Verizon, I had service for T-Mobile. Even some areas were faster, so that's what ended up happening. Greetings, YouTube tech guy. Watching you on a 32-inch screen. Looking good, bro. Hopefully I do. 32 inches, jeez. Are you watching on Android TV or Roku? I'm curious. Or Chromecast? What are you watching on? Or just a smart TV? Mine is Metro PCS Unlimited, everything $50. It works on T-Mobile. Yep. My S8 has like a million tiny scratches. Have you had anything taking out little scratches? No, actually. But I do have I have not had any scratches on my phone. I have heard the best glass screen protector is Bodyguards. From the stores that I've talked to, they've recommended it to be the best one. So yeah, that's the best one I recommend. But no, I don't have any scratches on my phone, so I can't tell you. And I've never had to take them any out. I take very good care of my phones. I'm very particular about making sure that my phone has no scratches on it. What cable modem do you use? My cable modem is a Verizon Fios cable modem, although I have Frontier Fios now because Verizon sold the Los Angeles or California Fios to them. So I have Frontier Fios, and my router though. So I turn off the Wi-Fi on that one, and my router is the Deco 5M router. I have no internet or Wi-Fi. What cable can I get to hook up my S7 Edge to watch it on my TV? The only thing you can do to get it to watch on your TV without Wi-Fi would be the All-Share Cast adapter. So the All-Share Cast adapter does not need Wi-Fi. It's, I don't know how much anymore. Let's see. All-Share Cast. So if I do a quick search on Amazon, okay, I would search somewhere else. Amazon's way too expensive. It's like $140. You should be able to get this thing for like $50. But basically that does not need Wi-Fi, and it can do a direct connection via Wi-Fi direct from your S7 Edge to the TV, and it mirrors it. So yeah, it mirrors your entire phone, and it basically gives you the ability of a Samsung Smart TV. If you have a Samsung Smart TV too, that would mean you don't need it either. But yeah. How big do you think the actual size of the Note 8 will be? Not just the screen. I think the Note 8 will be about the same size as the Note 7, if I had to guess, but I have no idea. It's called Star Trek Bridge. Yeah. Bridge Crew, there you go. The iPhone 8 comes out this year. Will you eat your if the iPhone 8 comes out this year, will you eat the Infinity Gauntlet? I cannot eat that Infinity Gauntlet, believe it or not. It's just too big for my mouth, and I can't even cut it up because then it's plastic, and then yeah, it's just nasty. Um, but yeah, so here's the thing about that. I would be shocked because again, it hasn't happened any time, but it's really interesting that if it would happen, I'd be very interested to see if it would happen. I do not think it's going to happen because it never has happened, and I don't give Apple that much credit as a lot of other reviewers sometimes do, and kind of overestimate what Apple will do compared to being more realistic about what Apple's going to do. Watching this on a 50-inch. What are you guys watching on? I'm just curious. What are you guys watching on? Because I've never seen a live stream on a TV before. I've only seen it on my phone or my computer. So I'm just curious what you're watching it on. Did you happen to watch Gary Explains on Android Authority about Bluetooth 5.0? Yes, I did. I actually left a comment on his video, and I told him, look, the reason why everyone is saying you're wrong is because of the fact that Samsung themselves, Samsung representatives, have been told that dual audio and Sound App Connect is possible because of Bluetooth 5.0. And when he's talking about Bluetooth 5.0, he says, yeah, it's not ready, it's not out yet. But then when he gets to the point about Samsung having about how do they do dual audio, his answer was, I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how they're doing the dual audio. There's an old feature and a new feature, so maybe they just have two chips, maybe, but he doesn't know himself on how they're doing it. Now maybe this is honestly because he doesn't know. He's maybe reached out to Samsung and they haven't given him an answer, but again, according to every Samsung representative I've talked to, that is possible because of Bluetooth 5.0. So if Gary has done research beyond that and thinking like, no, that's not true, well, someone is wrong here. But there is reason why every tech reviewer said that about Bluetooth 5.0 and about dual audio, and it's because that's what they themselves told us. What camera are you live streaming from? I have live streaming from the Lumix, Panasonic Lumix G7 compact system camera. The camera I normally shoot from is my G8, but that is permanently situated at the top of my studio area, which I'll show you kind of right there. Boom, that's my studio area. So that is for my studio filming. Is all done by the G8, and my G7, my old G7, stays over here to do all of the me in front of the camera videos. Do you like the Essential phone? I like it. I really want to try it. I'm going to reach out to Essential and see if they can send us a review unit. But I am not too crazy about it, and unfortunately, I do not think it will sell that well. I'd say the oldest that iOS 11 will run will be the 5S, since anything before that is 32-bit, if I remember correctly. I think you're right, Timothy. I think you're right about that. Do you know? Do you have a PS4 camera, and do you game online with the PS4? I do not have a PS4 camera, and no, I do not game online with the PS4. I'm an old school gamer. I really do. If you've seen my last two reviews, right? I did personal single player review, meaning just as a single player, the campaign mode, the regular offline mode, and that kind of stuff. I don't really play online. I just don't. I rather play against the CPU most of the time. I don't know. I haven't got to that point. I feel like I would play online if I were to go and what do you call it? If I were to if I were to have like YouTube as my only job or whatever, if I were to do that, then yeah, sure, I would game more, but I just do not have the time to game. I have a full-time job, and yeah, I just don't have time to game as much as I would like to. I can run up to 28 mph in actual test. It's actually closer to sitting still. I don't run. What was that from? I can run up to 28 miles per hour. MacBook Specs Pro bump only coming up. I think the MacBook Pros are still coming out later. I do not think the MacBook Pros will be announced tomorrow. I know that some people do think that, but there hasn't been much backup on that. So I think we're only getting the tablets and possibly the announcement for the Siri speaker tomorrow. I think that's the only hardware you're going to be getting. Everything else is going to be software. But we'll see. There's your advertisement example. There you go. T-Mobile digits can either give you two numbers or one device on one device, or one number on two devices. From what I read, yeah. Basically, so yeah. So how Alex is explaining the T-Mobile digits is it can either give you two numbers on one device, right? So I can have my work number and my personal number on my personal device, but I still have both numbers connecting to it, or I can get one number on two devices. So I can get, and that is what Google Voice can do, by the way, too. Google Voice can give you, your Google Voice number on one phone, or it can give you your Google Voice number on two different phones, or more, really. But that's the ability you have with Google Voice, and that's what T-Mobile Digits now gives you. I messaged them on Facebook. So far, nothing. When they called, they said 3 to 5 business days. I called back. They say 30 days for investigation. FedEx admitted error, yet Samsung drags its feet. Wow. I've only messaged Samsung on Twitter before, and they got back to me like right away. So let me know. Maybe try that. I don't know if you have Twitter, but Twitter is a lot more visible than Facebook. It's again, they're really, yeah. Ha. So when you say I got them digits, you'll mean it. You got them digits now. Um, Whoa. Sorry, a whole bunch of things just loaded. Get them T-Mobile digits. Can you explain the recent Hangout update on iOS? I do not. I have not used Hangouts on my iOS device, so I do not know what they changed recently. Uh, but I mean, Hangouts is slowly dying, unfortunately. It's just a matter of time before they get rid of it on phones, and it'll eventually. They're just gonna really push everyone to Allo. Which sucks because I think Hangouts is still better in a lot of ways than Allo, but we'll see. Um, would you rather have Google or Apple take over the world? I would rather have Google take over the world, easily. Um, do you mean Bixby is the worst assistant right now? Samsung is holding up major LO. Oh, hope the future of phones doesn't include Bixby button waste space any more annoying. The big thing about Bixby is we can't judge it yet. That's the problem. We cannot judge Bixby yet because it's not out. So we do not know if it's garbage or if it's the best voice assistant ever because it's not out. I think Bixby Vision is good. It is a good service, and I think it does really well at some things. It does very poorly at other things. And it's not mainstream right now, so we cannot say anything good or bad about it because it's not out. So when it'll come out, I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, and I agree. One thing, we hope that when Bixby does come out, it's great because of the delay. What do you want to come to the Google Pixel 2? Wireless charging, and I want for the Google Pixel 2, I want wireless charging, I want waterproofing, and I want less lens flare. three things, and the Google Pixel 2 might be my daily driver over the next Samsung phone and the next iPhone, if it can do those things. Is the S8 Plus or S8 worth upgrading from the S7 Edge? Yes. For me, it was easily a great upgrade. Better camera, way better battery life, and to me, it was definitely worth the upgrade from the S7 Edge to the S8 Plus. I'm watching on a Chrome class. Plenty of headspace over you. Yes, I have plenty of headspace over me. If you're watching me on an S8, my head doesn't get chopped off. So for those of you who watch me on an S8, you can actually expand that button and my head doesn't get chopped off. As most people, they film like this and their heads will get chopped off because they're on an S8. I'm watching this on my iPad 12.9. All hail Apple. Nice. What's your favorite feature on the S8 so far? That screen. The screen definitely is beautiful. The screen, the return of split screen, being able to create one app bigger than the other. Those two things, they're small, but I love them so much. It's an HP laptop hooked up to a RCA TV. Yeah. Commenting on my phone. So a little low budget. Oh man, that's cool because you're actually giving me two views. Then, if you're watching on the TV and on your laptop and on your phone, that's awesome. Thank you. I'm watching on my N4. Cool. A lot of people watching on a small Samsung tablet. It's cool. I've never really thought of like what do you guys watch me on? I'm watching on a 4K 65-inch Samsung TV streaming through my home computer. That is really I've never thought of how you guys watch this, so I'm really that's really kind of cool. What do you think of P, Q, and R could be called? All right, guys, let's come up with these names together. What's gonna be Android P? What is Android P gonna be? I mean, the easy one is just pie, right? Pie. Why can't it just be pie? And you could have all different flavors of pie. Sorry, mine immediately went to Rock's. The Rock, if you watch wrestling, his kind of pie. Pie, I think, would be the easiest one. What do you guys think? What could be another thing for pie? Anything, pineapple, but that's not a dessert, you know. So pie, Q, quiche. I'm thinking for quiche. I can't think of another Q right now off the top of my head. And R, something to do with raspberry. Roll up. Roll ups. Roll up. I'm trying to think. I can't think of something else with an R. What are you guys thinking of? What do you guys have? Android pumpkin. Pumpkin pie. Pumpkin or pumpkin pie. I think pumpkin would be really big. Like, you would get so many fanboys over all the pumpkin stuff that would be released, right? What else? What would be another P, Q, or R for Android? What are some P, Q, and R desserts? Let me know in the comment section and we'll get to that as I scroll down. Right on, man. You always know your stuff. Thanks. No problem. I am plugged in Samsung level link to my TV, listening to the audio through another level link. That's pretty cool. Just replied to your comment on Gary Explains Bluetooth Wi-Fi. Oh, that's cool. I wonder if I will see it. I don't know if I follow my normal links. I didn't do it as, I don't know if I did it as a YouTube tech guy or as my personal one. So I don't know what I'm there as. Ricky, do you know how to add multiple Gmail addresses to the S8 Plus? And it asks for a password. It doesn't allow me to add them. I'm not sure why. You just go to your account. So you go into settings, and then you go to accounts, and then you go to add account, and then Google. And then you add your account. That's all you should need to do. Now, a password would be like your... if it's asking you for a password, it might be like the password to your phone. But it's not. It shouldn't ask you for a Google password besides your Gmail password, if that makes sense. When will we see the Rigsby update for Samsung devices? You know, I don't think the S8 is big enough for Rigsby. Rigsby, I think we need to wait for the S9 to really get the hardware necessary ready for Rigsby. Because Rigsby, whole nother level. I mean, Google will now be asking Rigsby to assist. I mean, that's the future I see. Um, Ricky, do you know? Oh yeah. What is the best dash cam app you've seen or come across from an Android phone? Oh, I haven't really thought of a dash cam app for an Android phone. I've never thought of that because I've always had something playing from my phone, so I've never thought about recording with my phone. Um, I mean, I don't know. I've never looked into it. I've honestly never looked into it. I've looked at actual dash cams. I reviewed two different dash cams on this channel, but I've never thought of having one for my phone. I would feel that I wouldn't do it, to be honest, just because the benefit of a dash cam is also when you're parked, because it has a collision automatic turn on, so that when you're not in your car, it can go off. And I mean, you can get a great dash cam for under $100, so it's not too much, but it's a good value to have. So that would be my thoughts on it. So yeah. Um, iOS 11 iPad cutoff compatibility. I think the iPad Air, the first one, I think would probably be the cutoff, but I'm not sure again. Um, the run reference, 28 miles per hour versus standing still is the transfer speeds of advertised versus actual test speeds. Oh, got it, man. I did not get what you're saying. You're talking about how Bluetooth 5.0. Yeah, the way I heard it from Samsung rep was like it's like having 2 lanes of a highway versus 8 lanes of highway. Whereas before you were only going, like 20 miles per hour. Now you're going like 60 miles per hour, 80 miles per hour. Again, all these allusions to it. What Gary was explaining, again, Gary has done more research than I did, so please understand that. I'm not saying I'm right compared to Gary. I'm saying what Samsung people have told me, and Gary has done research on this. So I'm not saying that I know more than Gary. I'm not saying that at all. Don't start an internet war. um, Look, I'm just saying that that's what we were told, so that's why a lot of us said that. Like I saw people writing on there like, "Oh, someone should tell MKBHD, put him up on game on this, or send him this." We were all told this. That's why we've said that. Because I've said it on one of my videos. I think I said it on the hidden features video or the best features video. So I said it on one of my videos too, and it's because we were told that. So yeah, again, the actual speeds we'll see. Gary is also doing a video on how Bluetooth 5.0 is going to work with a receiver, and I'm not sure what he's going to demonstrate. He already said, like, look, it's not going to be what you think it is. So my guess it's going to be more of a transfer of data rather than audio, but we'll see. Is there a way to set up a static IP on the S8 over LTE connected to T-Mobile? I haven't tried it, but I don't see why not. I believe there are apps that give you a static IP, so yeah, I would think you could do it with an app. Yeah, what's up with the Essential phone gonna be like? So I talked about the Essential phone at the beginning of the show, if you missed it. The whole idea is I think the Essential phone is a really good concept. I do not think it's gonna sell well, unfortunately. I think it's kind of like the Moto Nexus. It was a great concept, big phone, huge battery, didn't sell well because it had no amazing wow factor other than just being a great phone. It had no extra feature to compare it, and with that price point, I feel more people do see it better to get an S8 Plus or an iPhone because of that reason, because you have the waterproofing that you don't have on here. With the wireless charging too, it hasn't really been made clear if it's Qi standard or if it gets us off those two connectors and that's what makes it connect. So there's things to wonder about it, but I'm really curious to see how it's going to work. Pecan pie. Watching this on my Samsung Chromebook Plus. Man, I've asked Samsung like 5 times for that Chromebook Plus to review it, and they just haven't sent it. I'm a little annoyed by that. I'm watching this on YouTube through my phone, streaming through Xbox One S in an 80-inch. Damn! An 80-inch TV? You go, Darren. 80-inch. Damn. I do agree with the split screen is great. I use it a lot. I use it at work a lot. Yeah, me too. All right, so let's get some of these names out there. For P's, we got Android Pumpkin. We got Pecan Pie. We got Pop-Tart. Pop-Tart, I love that. Pixie, Android Pop. Android Pudding. Android Popcorn. Android Peppermint. All right. All right, now Q's. Let's see the Q's. Not too many Q's I'm seeing. Q's are kind of stumping people, it looks like. No Q's. Kumquat. And yeah, Q's are slim pickings. Quick bread. All right. R's, we got Android Rolo. That just sounds really funny because of the YOLO. I don't know. Rolo just has a Android Red Vines. Oh my God, guys, we missed the biggest Android R of them all. Android Rigsby. Android Rigsby. That's it. That's got to be the name now. When Google asks you what is the name of Android R, when they ask for suggestions, we got to flood this with Android Rigsby. Yeah. Did you pre-order the Essential phone for our buddy Andy? I did not. I will say I did not pre-order it. I will reach out to Essential. I'm planning on reaching out to them tomorrow morning to see if they can send it. But yeah, I have not bought it for $750. I do not think it will yield the return I would need it to in order to justify buying it, to be honest. Just because although true techies will watch those videos, those videos are going to get less than 10,000 views. As opposed to like when we buy like the S8 or the G6 or the iPhone, those videos get hundreds of thousands of views, to 500,000 to 1 million to 2 million views. So that's how we kind of grade it on how I buy the phones for the channel, is by what are the potential of views we can get for the channel. Used to do plug on cameras for iPhones. iPhone using LG screens now. iPhone actually uses LG screens, Sony screens, Samsung screens, and Sharp screens. However, the majority come from Samsung, simply because they can manufacture more than anyone else. So if you have 10 million iPhones, typically about 5 million of those are coming from Samsung, and about 2 million, 1 million, 3 million are all coming from everyone else. But yeah, that's typically how the breakdown goes. And I know suppliers, so trust me. Samsung 65-inch 4K TV, Asus 310 asking questions. That is so crazy. That is such a cool thing. I never have thought of watching YouTube live on a TV and then chatting on a phone. That's really cool. I don't know why that's so. I just never thought of doing that. How can you play a video on 2 or more devices simultaneously? What do you mean, how can you play a video? Like, mirror a video on more than 2 devices? I I don't know if you can. The only thing I can think of that can do it is a graphics card on a computer. But have one thing mirror to two things. Maybe with an HDMI splitter? No, that wouldn't work. Um, I'm not sure off the top of my head. I would have to think about that. What else? Google desserts names in the alphabet. Oh, hold on, guys. I have to kick someone out. Damn it. I'm just deleting that for now, and hopefully that person won't say something else, so I won't have to kick them out. I have Sprint would be glad to see T-Mobile joining. Do you think they would use CDMA or GSM, some kind of merger between both networks? I think it would move to GSM. GSM is definitely the better technology. I mean, as it goes to LTE and LTE 5, those technologies are irrelevant to be honest, because all phones will have both anyway. But yeah. Um, Android Quaker Oats. I love that one. Good thing you didn't get Android Guy tattoo. Then they would be screwed because of the YouTube tech guy. I know, right? Um, when will LG and other companies switch over to OLED AMOLED displays? Well, so LG and other companies will switch over to OLED displays. AMOLED is the company that Samsung owns. That's a specific brand of OLED. So LG calls theirs POLED. Another company would just call it OLED. Another company would call it, whatever OLED. OLED will be the prevailing technology for the next probably 5 years on smartphones. However, there is a new technology emerging called micro LED. Micro LED will even be superior to OLED, but that one is a while away. So yeah, that is just a while away. But AMOLED is Samsung's brand of OLED. LG has already had OLED phones before. LG actually is the leader in OLED TVs right now. Samsung refuses to make OLED TVs. My guess is the cost is too much. And if you look at LG OLED TVs, they cost, way more than a regular TV. I mean, the cheapest 55-inch OLED TV, I think is like still like 1,300, 1,500 on sale. So they're very expensive. OLED is a very expensive technology compared to regular LCD LED TVs. So that's why you just don't see it that much. In TVs, definitely. Sony is now starting to get into the OLED business with TVs. Samsung will have to move into OLED eventually. I get it that they're like, oh, well, it's too expensive. No one's really buying these really expensive TVs anyway. But if they want to maintain their reputation as the best TV, they haven't been the best TV for 2 years, because for 2 years now, LG has made OLED TVs that are better than Samsung's SUHD TV from last year and their QLED TV from this year. OLED is a better technology. It's why their phones have OLED. So, that being said, that's what's going on right now in terms of it. But I'm really curious to see how it's going to turn out. But LG is making some of the OLED displays for the iPhone as well. And so is Sony. So for the OLED displays on the iPhone that's coming this year, it's coming from Samsung, from LG, and from Sony. Rocky Road. Sorry, they're still coming out with some good Android names. Um, yeah, switching on TV and commenting on devices is one of the best ways. There you go. One of the biometric technology that others use is nano. Yes. Um, no offense, Cable. I rather see Sprint join T-Mobile. Uh, that way we're guaranteed to stay GSM. I think again, originally this is really crazy about that merger, about the Sprint T-Mobile merger. Is originally Sprint was bigger than T-Mobile. Sprint had more users, Sprint had more spectrum, Sprint had more everything than T-Mobile. That has changed, which is why it would become a merger now instead of a buyout. Originally, Sprint would have bought out T-Mobile. Now it would become a merger. However, T-Mobile's parent company, T-Mobile, what is it, Dutch? T-Mobile Dutch? The parent company, T-Mobile is actually a company that originated in Europe, has a separate company called T-Mobile in the U.S., and they own the majority share of T-Mobile in the U.S. If they want to sell T-Mobile, they can to, Sprint or whoever. However, they have stated after the Sprint first tried to buy T-Mobile didn't go through, with T-Mobile's success and rise, they have said they are not interested in selling T-Mobile anymore. So they're not interested in selling, so maybe a merger is still a possibility, or if they can buy out someone else, but they are not interested in selling T-Mobile anymore. Do you think bendable phones will actually come out in 2018? Actually come in 2018? Yes, I do believe they will come out in 2018. I still have a small possibility of it coming out this year. Small. And I'm talking about December, November timeline. But I do think they will come out in 2018. I think it will be a very expensive phone. I think we're talking like $1,000 to $1,500, and I will probably buy it. But I think it will be a very interesting phone. I think T-Mobile will get Sprint's bandwidth and frequencies. Doubt they will mess with CDMA. Yes, I do agree with that. All right. When will they come out with another Droid phone? Droid phones typically come out during the summer. So that's when we would expect another Droid phone. The Moto Z2 Play just was announced. I am reaching out to Moto to see if we can get one of those. However, after that, the Moto Z2 will probably come out in June or July. Do you think they will ever update YouTube on the Shield so that it'd be easier to participate in live streams? I really like to more recent searches as well. Yes, if you actually check out, they have Android O update coming to the TV. It looks vastly different. I don't know if I like it as much, to be honest, but Android O to the TV will be a big update that comes. But Shield itself should get another update first with the voice being able to use the OK Google on a screen. OK Google, stop.
Sorry, I'm not sure how to help.
Thanks for clarifying about the OLED displays, Ricky, and people in the chat. You change the band it's on the phone, use GSM or LTE, yeah. Why are some comments in italics? The only ones that I see in italics are the ones where the message is retracted, but I'm not sure. Android Red Lobster, Android Raisin Bran, Android Rice Krispies, Android Roast, Android Ribs. Well, thank you for in advance for reviewing those phones. I hope to review them. I really do. What is the least thing you like on the S8? The least thing I like on the S8 is the fingerprint scanner. And I don't hate it as much as a lot of other people do. But yes, would I have liked it on the front screen? Yes, I would have. Am I pissed off that it's on? No, it's fine. I use the iris scanner pretty much all the time. But that's the main thing. Do you think mobile YouTube will ever get a dark mode? I think eventually. I have it as an option on my, testing YouTube new features. But yeah, I think it'll eventually have it, but I don't know when. Maybe that might be like an Android O feature. What do you prefer, wired with boosted connection or Wi-Fi connection? Um, I mean, for my desktop that I have to live stream this on, I will always do wired. It's no question about that. Wireless is getting good, and I mean, to think that 5G, even gigabit speed, right? Gigabit speed on the S8 down right now, up and down in test areas is getting 100 megabits per second. That is insane. That is insane that it's getting that fast. So yeah, really interested in that. Can't wait. Can't wait. I mean, eventually wireless will be the prevailing form of connection. However, when we get true gigabit signal through direct connection too, that'll be amazing as well. So can't wait for both. Can't wait for everything. Faster, faster, faster. I like that. Can you not change Google Homes to a different keywords? No, you cannot. At least not yet. Marvel or DC? Well, I have both Marvel and DC behind me in that Ricky thing. The R is Spider-Man, the I is Iron Man, C is X-Men, K is Batman, Y is the Flash, and all of those lines are Green Lanterns. So I love Marvel or DC. To be honest, I really do. Thank God, if you didn't see it, Wonder Woman was amazing. Thank God for that, because we can finally have a good DCEU film. And my review for that is coming up tonight. I've already recorded it, so I'm just got to upload it. I was going to upload it before I did this video. But if you guys are new to the channel, I do have a separate movie channel called The Mainstream Movie Guy, and I review mainstream movies. So tonight, my review for Wonder Woman's going up. Tomorrow, my review for Pirates of the Caribbean 5 is coming up. Dead Men Tell No Tales. So both of those are going up tonight and tomorrow morning. So make sure to check them out. And I will start to do more videos on there. I have slacked off a lot on there. It was a very busy time with the S8. I was doing 3 videos a day at one point. Every single day for like, I think 2 or 3 weeks. So that being said, though, we are going to have a lot of different videos now going not only here, but also there. So check out the Mainstream Movie Guy channel. If you are new to the channel, I review movies. And also, I'm going to start to do more other things like what Rotten Tomatoes actually is. I feel like a lot of people don't know. There's not like, they don't have reviewers on Rotten Tomatoes. And like that's what I really think a lot of people don't know what Rotten Tomatoes is. So I'm going to go over that too. What would you like to see come to the S8? It's funny that you mentioned that. I am actually going to start a new series called What Is It Missing? Where I'm going to talk about what is the phone missing. So what is the S8 missing? What is the iPhone 7 Plus missing? What is the G6 missing? And kind of go over like the Google Pixel. What is it missing? What features is the phone missing that I would really want to see? All right. Recently moved from Philadelphia to Seattle. In the area, have a lot of issues with T-Mobile signal almost everywhere, but I love T-Mobile, so I'm hoping for the best. That's surprising because T-Mobile is supposed to have good signal in Seattle. They have one of their main headquarters is up over there. So I'm surprised by that. I know in what do you call it? It has good signal. It's a city off of Seattle, but I can't think of what it is. It's like the rich area or whatever. T-Mobile's headquarters and T-Mobile and Samsung and Microsoft, I think, have buildings there, but I can't think of it. Bellevue or something like that. It's supposed to have really good signal with T-Mobile. Can't wait for gigabit speed and 5G. Oh, shoot. Do you think those speeds will drain more battery on the S8? That I don't know yet. I'm very curious to see that, though. We'll have to wait and see. Do you still have your Note 7? No, I do not have a Note 7 anymore. Tier. What time is it for you? Right now, it is 9:21 p.m. and I do have to get going because my wife gets pretty mad when I take up all the Wi-Fi. She's not allowed to stream anything while I do the show. So she's always like, aren't you done yet? You know, so yeah. I just hit the notification bell for the mainstream movie channel. Thank you, Quiet Storm. I appreciate that. I'm keep getting S 7.0 update message for my Note 5. I don't want to because it screwed up my phone before. How can I stop it from popping up? Disable the update app. That is a good way. Get a package app disabler, and hopefully that'll work. But sooner or later, they always try to get you. You should start your own support and software company. That would be really great, but again, it's really hard to figure out with my life what I exactly want to do at this point, because, if I don't get promoted from my regular day job, well, then I have to figure out something, because I need to get more money in the next 2 years when I start having kids. Like, I have to be the sole provider for my household. So, yeah, either get a promotion or find another way to make money. So, I'm going to do one, but we'll have to wait and see. No, not Cupertino's in Cupertino isn't nearby Seattle. It's one that's nearby Seattle. Cupertino's in nearby Mountain View and Palo Alto and all those. Has he touched the Gear VR update? I'm just getting here. Yeah, I touched on the VR update at the beginning. You can go back to get the full story, but basically they're live streaming things from UFC, X Games, and other live stream services. And also, what else did I say, guys, in the beginning? Yeah, I have to. I don't know what it is. What's the other thing anymore? Oh, that it works with Chromecast now, so you can actually put on your VR and other people could see what you're viewing on your TV. Do you have an idea when the Samsung Note 8 will be released? All that I can say is typically the Note's released in August, so that's what we're guessing. Is it worth buying the VR cheap one for $30? Yeah, I mean, that's a really good price for it. Did Wonder Woman really have sex with Superman? In the comics, yes. Not in this. I guess it's a spoiler. So, spoiler alert for Wonder Woman. Superman's not in Wonder Woman. What would you say to 2 fingerprint scanners, one on the front and one on the back? I would say it's unnecessary, and no company would probably do it. Just too expensive for why kind of thing. They would be like, well, what's the justification for this? And when a technician would try to say it, they'd be like, no, it costs too much money. That's $3 per phone, $5 per phone. Too much money. Redmi in Washington is what you're thinking of? Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's 11 here. Guess we'll talk to you soon. Keep your wife happy, bro. I know, right? All right, guys. I think we will call that a show just so my wife doesn't get too mad. We've already gone a little bit over an hour. We're getting towards the hour and a half territory. So thank you, as always, for watching. Superman is not in Wonder Woman. Giggity. That's hilarious. All right, guys. Thank you, as always, so much for watching. Please make sure you give a like, thumbs up before you leave. And again, always feel free to share these videos. And, if you have any company that you want me to review, always reach out to them on Twitter. Tag me at the YouTube Tech Guy. And hopefully we'll get more products to review. Thank you again, always, for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.